Hi there. My name is Rob. I am a very, as you'll probably see in a moment, a very opinionated um, white American. Um, and I've been observing the ever since I was a boy. I've been observing the world around me, and sort of the progressive um, build up of what will eventually become history. And like many, many people right now, I am deeply, deeply concerned. Um, and I'm not, I'm not going to speak on the truths of Black Americans, of women, of people of color, of immigrants, of the LGBTQ community, because that's not my truth. I am a cis white guy. So I'm going to talk to my fellow cis white Americans for a moment. Primarily the ones who still are supporting the current president. I have a couple of questions based on some of my observations of the outward projections of ideologies and beliefs that I've seen. The first one, in regard to Portland and the Portland protests and the federal response, what about the Constitution? Because I hear this word come up a lot. It seems that I cannot go 6 feet around any person on the right without hearing something about the Constitution. Constitution this, Constitution that, especially the second. The second is the one that comes up a lot. The right to bear arms. Okay, we have a right to bear arms, and this is not a video about gun control. I have my beliefs about gun control, and they might actually surprise you if you sat down and talked with me about it, because like many things, they're a little nuanced. But I just got to ask, what about the Constitution? Because right now, you have a group of goons. That's what they are. You have a group of federal goons that have openly expressed loyalty to a single guy, who are going in to an area that is filled with people who are utilizing their rights to express their grievances and demand a redress of grievances, and their right to assemble. That's the First Amendment, right there. There are other factors, of course, but those are two of the big ones. And what I hear is an open support of the people who are infringing those rights, who are outwardly going out of their way to detain, to cause harm, and to intimidate people from expressing that right. It seems to me that the expressed ideology is not lining up with what is happening and what it is that you're supporting, to be 100% blunt. And on to the second. A lot of you guys like to talk about, like, oh, well, it's my right to own guns, and it's my right to, to defend my family and my country, and from a tyrannical government. I heard this. I heard this very, very, very explicitly during the administration of President Obama. I live in Roseburg, Oregon, and after the Umpqua Community College shooting, um, President Obama came, and he came to talk to families about that. I remember very clearly there was a group of people who, on social media and in person had expressed some pretty violent desires for the fate of the president. And they met the president with some pretty inflammatory signboards. And you know what I remember starkly about that? Nothing happening. No unmarked vans, no unmarked federal agents coming to take them and detain them, no one getting billy clubbed, no one getting tear gassed. Nothing. And then, shortly afterwards, there was a guy named Embody who rolled up to the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge with a group of his buddies armed with military-grade weapons and seized and occupied a federal building inside of that refuge. And I remember hearing overwhelming support for the Bundys, who were acting as an insurrectionary group to the Constitution, who were demanding their rights as essentially squatters. I remember hearing overwhelming support for that. You fast forward to now. You have a group of people who are, there's some property damage. There is minor property damage. The stuff that you're seeing on Breitbart, the stuff that you're seeing on Fox, it's not the case. Full disclosure, I have not been to Portland. In the context of the protests, I have not been to Portland. I have been following the live footage. So I want to be clear that I don't have a first-hand account. I have second-hand. But my first-hand account is based on people who are actually on the ground and not doctored images or imagery from a few years ago somewhere that's not in Portland. And that's a problem. And I do blame the media for that. A very specific group of the media. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent there. My point is, y'all are all about the Constitution. Y'all are all about the first. Y'all are all about the second. And yeah, the second gives teeth to every single one of the other amendments. The Constitution and the rights that it grants is protected by the second. So why are you not protecting these people? I'll wait. Okay, so now that you have formulated a watertight answer, I'm going to go on to my second question. What about the spirit of 1776? Because last I remembered, when I was reading through my 6th grade history books, the Sons of Liberty, the 3% of the people in the colonies, they weren't sitting around drinking with their buddies talking about blue lives, or I guess red lives in this case, mattering, and talking about what they would do if one of them liberal soy boys, talks shit to them. Excuse my language. I don't ever remember reading that part. And I definitely don't remember them chanting "Redcoats matter." I don't know. Maybe I missed something there. So I ask again, what about the spirit of 1776? Because the people who ended up fighting to create this country, the people who went on to build this country, they started by protesting. They started by expressing their grievances to the king. Like that was the chain of events. It would seem to me, based again on my very limited understanding of history, as I wasn't there, and a lot of American history is sort of it's sort of grounded in somewhat of a mythology. Where you're sitting, and again, I'm talking to the right, and I'm specifically talking to the right who is supporting the federal response, where you're sitting is on the side of the Loyalists. Where you're sitting is on the side of the Redcoats. Directly on the side of the Redcoats. That's where you are. The people that you are wishing harm upon, yep, those are the ones who are embodying the spirit of 1776. At least the one that you're trying to co-opt. My third question. And I'm gonna get off your back here for a moment. I'm gonna ask you a question that has been lingering in my mind for a while. Why do you still, after all of this, after overt disparaging of those veterans that you claim to love, after an overt pissing on the Constitution, after campaigns of self-aggrandizement, of self-enrichment, of of just selfishness, with no real regard to the American people, to the Constitution, to any of these things that you claim to love and defend, why do you still give such unwavering loyalty to a man who does not deserve it? He doesn't. And I'm not saying to go with Biden. I'm not. I want to make that very clear. My choice dropped out. That said, my choice ain't Trump, and he wasn't in 2016, and that's my personal preference. But I'm asking you, as people who openly go out of their way to talk about the Constitution, to talk about how this is a country of law and order. to who even 4 years ago was talking about how you can't trust Russia. That's another argument for another day. Um, why why do you still support him? It it confounds me. It really does. He does not have your best interest at heart. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't. He he cares about enriching himself, about putting himself up on the highest pedestal possible. And he's laughing at you. And I don't know if you enjoy being the butt of a joke or not, but the joke's not funny. It was funny in 2016 when he announced it. It's not funny now. Stop being the butt of Trump's joke. The man, say what you will about Donald Trump. That's pretty much the end of that. No, but his enterprise as a private citizen aside, completely compartmentalize those for a moment. What has he done to show that he is a supporter of right-wing values? Like, is it the gross overspending, perhaps, on frivolous projects? Is it the private use of public funds to go on golf trips and rallies? Is it the frivolous deployment of big government tactics to impede on the constitutional rights of American citizens? Is it the rampant, overt, and sometimes dog whistle? I'll give him that. He's pretty good at dog whistles. Is it the racism? The joyous perpetuation of systemically racist policies. Old party of Lincoln. What is it? What is it that makes him such a conservative, such a Republican? Because I don't see it. Donald Trump is a party unto himself. That's it. Don't be the butt of his joke in 2020. Whatever you voted for in 2016, that's in the past. That's done. You can't change it. You voted how you voted. Don't give him the power. Don't give him power over you, and don't put yourself in a place that you're going to regret. Because where this is heading, there's an entire generation of Western Europeans who, during the 1930s, made some pretty bad judgment calls. And they had to live with that for the rest of their lives. Get off the train. Because if you really believe in that second, you really believe in that Second Amendment, if it goes the way that some of you have openly expressed that you want it to go, you're not the only one with a Second Amendment right. And I want to make something very clear. I don't want to see that happen. And I will vigorously campaign and plead for that to not happen. Because that it doesn't end well. We tried it in the 1800s, and it fellas, it didn't work out too hot. I'm from South Carolina originally, and well, for good or for bad, for better or for worse, for right or for wrong, they're still paying for it. And they deserve to get their asses kicked. And right now, you're not embodying the spirit of 1776. You're embodying the spirit of 1936. And I'm telling you, it's not a spirit you want to embody. You're flying the wrong flag. You're not even a Republican anymore. You're not even a conservative anymore at this point. Pull back. Alter course. I'm begging you, man. I really am. Because you're going to have to live with that. That's pretty much it. Yeah. That's the dump. That's the load. Everybody stay safe. Remember, in the midst of all of this, we're still going through a global pandemic. And that's another issue altogether. Stay safe. 6 feet. Wear a mask. Be safe out there. And be kind to each other. We need that more than ever. I might do another one of these again if anything else comes up. If not, see y'all around. Thanks for listening.